Meeting is called to order at 2:01. And we are just looking at the items or the policies that we had internal changes to.
Okay, now, do we want to do them individually or, okay,
We should start individually. I just wanted to point out those that had corrections to them.
okay, no problem.
Because we're a mandated reporter, correct, for the suicide.
Right,
It has
I
to
do
be
like that
recorded.
change on mine,
Yeah. Yeah,
there's only one change in the yellow on mine, is that correct?
that's all I'm seeing so far.
Just the one change in mine.
Only, yeah, just that one addition.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's all I have. And that's the only one, Donna?
And just to clarify, if anybody's watching, the green highlighted areas, are they the changes,
It's, well,
the newly updated?
yes.
The updates, right?
It's the newly updated, and then the red,
Or cross-outs.
all of mine are
Deletions.
not crossed out though. That's what
So I
was
just
wondering.
meant deletions, yeah.
Okay. Because I know that if anybody looking, I know that they don't really know the distinction. Okay, let's begin to write down this list.
Okay. Well,
I don't have an agenda in front of me, which ones.
yeah, I guess an agenda would help, wouldn't it, girls?
I was
I'm
gonna
so
peek at your
sorry.
computer. No,
That's
you're
not
fine.
like you, Donna.
I'm telling you.
And it's a pretty lengthy list. So, there you go.
You good, Eileen?
I'm good.
Okay.
And all that we are doing is having a look at the policies to give to the board in order
Right.
to
What you guys are
recommend.
doing, they're
Yeah.
saying you recommend
Mhm.
either approving it,
Yes,
rescinding it, or tabling it.
Yeah.
For further
okay.
information, if that makes sense.
Well, where is this one that she's talking about here? Is it on the budget?
Which
that,
one?
Agent Joe is talking about?
Um,
DJF2?
She was talking
Purchasing.
about, actually, she was talking about a procedure,
Okay,
And it's
which,
DJF and purchasing.
yeah.
yeah, okay.
And she is specifically talking about, let me get her email up here, so I know.
And this is,
Increasing the,
um,
let's see,
and this is
purchases over.
a concern of a community member, right?
Yes, this is a concern by a community member.
Yeah.
I thought she was going to be here, but apparently not.
And in all honesty, what I would recommend is tabling DJF until we looked at it a little bit more closely. And then
Well,
have a recommendation on that one.
why did these not?
Because I just looked at the email under an hour ago. And I don't want to ignore a concern, only I don't want to, because I've got my thoughts about it, only I would like to hear
Okay.
other board members' opinions as well, so.
Her concern is,
Competitive bids for purchases now go up over 50,000
which,
instead of 3,500. Right?
that,
Is that the place it begins or ends?
well, currently, micro purchases are under 3,500.
Right.
they are changing that to under 10,000. That's where she has,
That's where it's wrong. She's wrong.
that's where she's questioning. Because the other things, they're exactly the same. I mean,
But she wrote it in here that said the bids for purchases over 3,500, increasing that number to over 49,999.
Yep, and so
no,
that was
we're
my
not.
question as well, and so.
Small purchases, 3 quotes, 3,500 to 3,500 to 50,000 is what our current one reads.
It's what its current
The
is.
update says under
Under.
50,000. So
There's no change.
basically, there's no change, it's just changing wording, that's
The
it.
only change is.
The only
on
big
micro
change is on the
purchase.
micro purchase.
Okay.
And this comes from government, this
Right.
comes from we're just following government guidelines, is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And
So,
that was my problem. Because I remember when we initially did the update on the policy, it didn't match what I was looking at in the email. And so
Yeah.
that's why I said,
Yeah.
let's move it over to the side until I'm able to look more in depth at the
Exactly.
information.
That's what you
Jenny just
clarified.
said, you
Yeah.
know, she's like, this would just bring St. Joe policy in line with federal spending
Mhm.
policy limits,
Yeah.
which,
I see now.
you know.
I understand.
If that's what it is, I'm,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm for it.
So,
I understand.
I mean,
So there's no need to table it.
I don't think there's
No, I
any
don't
reason
think there
to
is.
table it.
That was my question and you just
Yeah.
answered it, so
Okay.
thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Donna.
Yep. Well,
Um,
I mean, it's my experts that I work with.
And I've already looked at these pretty closely because I'm on the advocacy committee and we update the policies. And so I do know that you mentioned that there were a couple that our board, excuse me,
Our directors.
our directors made some changes in, and they're pretty minute changes. It just makes it in more in accordance with our district.
Right.
But did you have any questions with any?
They are pretty minute
Mhm.
alterations.
And the ones with the changes our director listed, it was DB, the annual budget, and that was only the change to the date, right?
Yes.
Ending
Yes.
on the 30th
Mhm.
of June and not the 1st.
Right.
And that just makes more sense, as you mentioned, after the board meeting.
Right.
And then you mentioned, which one, I tried to keep them out, that one if I did. JHC, student health services and requirements to mark out scoliosis,
Scoliosis.
Yes.
because we don't do that. Do they even have scoliosis still? I haven't heard of a case in so long.
Not in a long time.
I remember doing it when I was a kid, but, you know, you're talking many, many, many moons ago.
No, I think I remember doing them.
The grade school I went to isn't even open anymore. Hadn't been for years.
And the only other change by the directors was JHDF, suicide awareness and prevention, and that was just to add the referral
Yeah.
to a mental health screening by a community agency, and that just makes sense. I'm kind of embarrassed that the committee left that out.
That would have been common sense.
I know, I'm sorry. But
But we presume that happens instead of putting it in black.
I know, but a lot of things, unless you
You have
put it
to
in
do
black and white, it's not gonna happen, so. Do you need any discussion on any particular one? I love reading these.
You do?
Yes. Yes,
I'm glad,
Yes.
because this is one committee that we usually struggle getting somebody to really seriously look at.
Oh, no, I picked this first.
I do like that you've added the part for the virtual students
Mhm.
on that one,
Mhm.
which is something
Somebody had
that's
to,
fairly
pretty
new.
much.
Yeah,
Because it's new and there's no real
yeah, what do you do?
guidance on what to do exactly, so.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I am putting in the minutes, except for the ones that had changes to them,
Mhm.
that the policy committee recommends taking this to the board with recommendation to approve with changes.
Sounds good.
And I think that the problem with purchasing is that it listed here.
Mhm.
At the top, it listed under 50,000
Right,
as a change, and it really is not a change.
no. Change in wording only.
How could you not like the policy committee? I like rules.
It's supposed to make life easier, isn't it?
It is 100% better than when I started, because when I started, it was horrid. That's, I spent my first 3 years getting these things
Oh my
straightened out,
goodness.
yeah.
No, I just like having like a game plan and having like an outline, okay, if this happens, then this happens, then this happens, and so I'm not like a surprise kind of person.
Well, it's good for the community to have values, to know how to work within them and the students as well.
I didn't even like having a surprise birthday party. I cried because I wasn't expecting him, so I was unhappy.
My hubby's birthday was yesterday.
Nice weather. And then on the procedures,
These look good. Thank you, sir. I'm just amending it.
and like on the procedures, if you look at EJF-AP1 purchasing, it explains more in depth about the change. I'm on page 3. It explains more in depth about the change in the dollar amount.
Yep.
And so I think that if this was also looked at, it would have explained the DJF.
And Latonya, I will add all these to the agenda and I will let you lead that conversation
Okay.
during the meeting. Because we will vote on them, and we're just voting on the policies.
Mm-hmm.
We won't have the procedures, and we'll vote all them, all in one vote,
Okay.
Okay.
unless somebody wants to pull one, you know, which we.
Sure, there, that can happen.
And if they want to pull one and discuss it and vote on it separately, we can do that.
So procedures are just for reading, right?
Right. Trying to
I don't know how you can read this and not get it.
Well, 'cause you
So
gotta
it wasn't
read-
read. You have to read it.
Because you have to look at the policies and the procedures.
Correct, so if you only read one,
It doesn't
Right.
make sense, and
Right.
I can understand just over the verbiage looked weird. And that change was at the suicide awareness and prevention, the annual budget, and was there a third one? I've got the annual budget one, the suicide awareness one, but there was another one, wasn't there?
the scoliosis.
Student health and services, yeah. Okay. I just wanted to mark those, and then when I'm at the meeting, I'll be able to explain it better
Explain, okay.
and not have to waste any time looking around for it.
All right.
I
Good
was the kind
enough.
of kid, I used to read the encyclopedia.
Oh, I love
I
it.
believe it. I believe it.
Yep, I'm good.
Yes. And I am still working with Jenny on, trying to figure out the whole per diem thing, just to let you guys know,
Mm-hmm.
so.
What's the issue with it?
Well,
Because of
the way,
the
we
hotel
need
thing?
to stop this meeting before we
Okay.
discuss that. So are we adjourning this?
This meeting's adjourned. Thank you.